Hey guys, welcome to the Nuance. I'm Ian. We're back with more Superman Lois. And last episode, things ended pretty calmly, you know? I think everybody has come to an agreement. Apart from the fact that Bruno Mannheim and... so even Sammy knows that there's some stuff going on. Bruno Mannheim and Henry came head-to-head in front of the kiddos. So... you know, and Mateo does not seem happy with Papa. I don't think he knows what's going on with his mom in terms of like where she's being kept at currently. So that's sad. I feel really bad for him. Was feeling really bad for Bruno as well. In certain scenes specifically, and he even like, hey, Superman, take her to wherever because she's gonna die otherwise. A lot going on last episode. Let's see. Oh, and Sam went on a date. Well, tried to.
Next to the Pulitzer, this is the highest honor in journalism you can get.
Not to mention the fanciest gala you'll ever be invited to.
I don't know what to say.
That's where we'll have our wedding.
What to wear? I don't have a gala-worthy dress.
Then go get yourself something nice, because your chances of winning are pretty darn good.
I think it's time we start talking next steps.
Deep breaths. This is probably the most anxious spot where hope is there, just out of reach, possibly.
We said no holes, no underwear, and somehow you've given us both. Are you wearing the firehouse today?
There's boys for you.
No, not this weekend. What's that about?
Oh. She immediately turns to look at Jordan.
Kids.
She can be as weak as she could be, but them instincts. Boom. What's going on, Jordan?
Find out what he wants, then we go from there.
Okay. Yeah, for his wife.
Hold on. I'm running this. John, this is more my fight than yours.
Yeah, but that's what makes you
talked
more
about this.
emotional.
I
Which
agree.
in this instance, not good.
Diggle went to you first for a reason. John Henry should take point on this one.
In most circumstances, I would agree. I'm talking a lot. Sorry, guys.
I think this is a mistake.
Yeah, me too.
That wasn't cheap. Please tell me you didn't sell a kidney.
I wish. It was my baseball card collection.
Even your Cal Ripken rookie?
Since it was in mint condition, I got a fair price.
Clark.
Hey, you are worth more than any
Oh,
rookie
did he
card.
actually?
That is the most romantic thing anyone has ever said to me. Do you have money left for a text?
Hey, what's this doing in here?
I only wore it once. It's just been gathering dust ever since.
Okay, well, we'll find another event.
It's not the issue.
Lois, this is the dress.
I don't want to keep the dress, Clark.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Sure, Lana will be happy to take it.
She'll take it back eventually. Maybe.
Have you guys ever killed anyone?
How could you even ask me that? Your mother and I, we may not be perfect, but everything we've done is for you and Hobbs Bay.
Answer the
I
question,
need you to
man.
believe that.
I just want to see Mom.
Give me the club. Stay here.
Dang. That is... Oh, they don't know what's going on, too. These people are like, what's going on?
Clark, she's about to lose her breasts.
I know, and I want to talk to her about it, but it's her body, and I'm just a guy who's never gonna go through this. So I don't really feel like it's my place to bring it up until she's ready.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Maybe you should let me. I know that chemo has been hell on you. On Clark, your dad, the boys. But once this is all said and done, after the surgery, after everything, it's your life and your body that'll be changed forever. And I don't want you to feel alone for that. So please, just talk to me, Lois.
came to help.
If these items were to return, you promise we'll get to see her.
You have my word. This wasn't me.
Damn it, John. We had it.
He was about to make a deal. Oh, he still can. After we finish searching the apartment. You and I talked about this.
Wait. You knew Superman was going to be here?
He sent armed thugs to my home, Sam, where my daughter lives.
I understand, but you're making this personal.
No, he made it personal by strapping a bomb to my sister and threatening my family.
We can't answer a threat with another threat.
That is not how we do things.
It was my call to make.
You're done here.
No, Sam, don't.
Not up for debate.
Oof.
Go home, John.
But now what do? We've screwed up. And if they don't find anything in this stuff...
Sir, I don't think we're gonna stay.
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Look, I'm serious. I'm in pants all the time, and now I'm in this dress. And...
Hey, you were meant to wear this dress, okay? I have never seen anyone as beautiful as you are right now. And if you really want to leave, we can go. But I think you should go win this award so the world can celebrate the amazing woman I get to see every day.
I think we're gonna stay. Thank you.
That night, I felt so beautiful and just sexy. I was there being honored for my mind. It was empowering. I worry about what it'll do to my marriage.
I really think that, you need to tell Clark how you're feeling.
Wake him up.
Are you sure this is a good idea? I know things are weird and complicated right now, but I don't care. I don't care because I love you.
Whoa. Chill, bro.
Really? I love you too.
Oh, teenagers. It happens.
I'm really sorry about after the fire. And it's really cool what you're doing with Mr. Cushing.
Do you hear that? It's the sound of ice thawing.
Piss off, Sarah.
Maybe you two should hug it out. Hug it out.
Thank you, Sarah.
Beautiful brothers. I'm just gonna sneak in here real quick. Yeah.
For before my surgery, we are thinking of going to Bazumba's.
Oh, the chicken wing place.
No one goes there for the food.
They go there to see the waitresses in their tiny tank tops.
Yep. No, I just got it.
Clark. So cute. I think you're gonna be fine.
John, I'm detecting an air mobile approaching quickly.
Where's it headed?
The trajectory indicates...
Yep. Here. Hey, Henry. And the suit's not fixed. Ah, come on, not the workshop, man. Oh! Hey, Clark, where you at?
No surgery could ever change the way I see you.
I know that. But how you see me isn't the problem.
It's John Henry.
You're nothing without the suit.
I'm saying nothing. But against somebody with your abilities, a little one-sided. But hey, look where you at, Clark.
Stay here.
Come on, Clark. Just get him away, and then you don't have to hold back anymore.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Nice, smooth.
John, no!
I didn't have a choice.
You always have a choice.
Dad, you and I watched Mom get killed on TV. What would you have given to have those last minutes with her?
That was different.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice. They do. Do you really want to be the person that takes that from them?
You tried to kill Mr. Irons, and because of that, Mom's gonna die all alone. And I won't ever get to see her again. I'm not ready to lose her.
It's okay, son. Your mother's not gonna die anytime soon.
What? Come on, you heard the lawyer.
I think it's time I show you what I've been working on.
Oh, damn it. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Is that Superman?
Not quite.
It's the Superman of the inverse world, son. This Superman is how I found the cure to save your mom.
Wait a minute. What's up with his skin? Am I missing? Am I just not seeing it? His skin looks normal.
I know where we should get married,
Babe, we can't afford the press club's reception hall.
but we can't afford your parents' farm.
Really?
Yeah. Just you and me and our closest friends and family in the place that raised the love of my life. Did you really mean what you said earlier?
Every word.
Say it again.
I have never seen anyone as beautiful as you are right now.
How fast do you think you can get this dress off?
I was kind of figured that was where that was going.
Babe, whatever scars you might have, they're just symbols that you survived. And they're why I still get to have you. That surgery is going to save your life, and there is nothing more beautiful to me than that.
What if it makes me feel different? What if I don't want to be intimate anymore?
We'll figure it out.
Clark, it's not that simple. Sex is a big part of our marriage.
I know. And when you're ready, so am I.
Hey, do you remember what we did that night when we got home?
Yeah.
I'm up for it if you are.
You mean right now?
Yeah, but we should get dressed up.
This is unfair, guys.
Wow. Lois Lane? Will you fly with me?
I love you, Clark. More than ever.
This fucking show, dude. Oh man, finally a really beautiful and heartwarming ending that this fucking show has given us. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Ugh. God. That's good stuff. This show. Fucking, this whole season's been really putting in the work to make someone just really feel them emotions. At the very least, they ended it with like a more of a happy, not I wouldn't say upbeat, happy, like I said, heartwarming, and just beautiful moment between Two people that love each other so much. Oh man, these two are probably my favorite TV couple. Period. I feel like, man. The flashbacks and with all this build up, it's been great. Been great. I'm really worried though about the stuff with Mateo and that Bruno's showing him, what he's been working on is like, hey, I've made this stuff to cure your mom. And what this could possibly do, whenever Clark was like, we could use Kryptonian technology to cure your mom, but then we have to put it out there, and that technology itself could spell disaster for humanity. And while it's not technology, he's using Kryptonian blood and the discoveries that they could find from this, it worries me what that could create. Because a lot of people, while it wouldn't be technology, a lot of people could effectively possibly use it to make, bioweapons and stuff. Because that's just where people's mind tend to go, is with this discovery, think of what we could do with it offensively. This could be something that the others, whatever enemies we have, they can't combat this. Because they don't have the resources that we have. And it's just that's what I'm worried about right now. I don't know if they'll go that route with, that could, be an issue. But there has to be some kind of obstacle that keeps them from. I don't know. Maybe they will cure Pia, but they'll still, arrest both Bruno and Pia. Maybe still allowing Mateo visiting rights. Man, that kid's just a good kid, and it sucks to see him have to go through that. He can't see his mom because of what they've done, and because of John Henry. I 100% understand where he's coming from, and I get, you shouldn't also let your emotions contradict what you're going to do, which is very hypocritical of what he's doing, because that's exactly what he's doing right now, is letting his emotions get in the way of it. And both him and Clark were on the opposite side of that, although I feel like Clark would also be less aggressive about it, as we had seen. He was about to make a deal with Bruno before John and the DOD showed up. Oh, man. Oh, sorry. It really makes the sinuses act up. Every time the tears are running. Oh, so it wasn't, this episode, they had nothing going on with Lex, which is totally fine with me. That's just what I was assuming, and then I even thought maybe a dress had something to do with that night as well, but I didn't even think about this dress is something she felt, beautiful, sexy in, and then now there's this going on, the surgery that's going to completely take away her breasts, which, like she had said before, when she was younger, she didn't want it, she didn't want this, thing pulling people in, pulling their eyes and bringing all this attention she didn't possibly want. But that's and while that might not seem like a big trade-in, for some people, maybe mainly guys, even for me for a moment, I was just that your life. I'm not saying she's choosing to keep them and then take the whole the possibility of getting cancer again, but I was just more saying I knew she would go through with it, but it's but think about the fact that you're going to be living, that was what's going through my mind. I didn't even think, there's still that thing that lingers of just but I'm scarred. That's showing. While, again, some people might go immediately to the route of just these scars show that I, survived this, that I'm strong. They were talking about near the end. But that's not going to be everybody's mindset, and it's valid. It's not they're too too, what's the word, too not obsessed, but I can't think of the word, but they're taking their looks into consideration too much. It's that kind of a thing, especially after having dealing with the everything, the chemotherapy, and coming out of this different. You would just feel different, and then like you're lacking a part of yourself, lacking something that a lot of times, like, and as a general statement, the world takes into consideration as attractive. Like, there's just a lot that women have to deal with after having dealt with breast cancer, in terms of these circumstances. Like, I didn't even think about it, and it's really, like, even as much as you want to be sympathetic and understanding of someone's situation, when you aren't going through that situation, or you would never possibly go through that situation, you can't understand as much as you want to what they will be going through. And it's just like, she knows Clark wouldn't look at her any less, but it's how she feels. Man, that was really rough. That was really just hard. And I wasn't upset with Lois whenever she was giving him the dress, and I was like thinking about Clark. I was like, well, she's not thinking it. Well, she might be, but she, like, the idea of the fact that Clark is feeling kind of like a sort of pain from seeing her give this thing up that was very special to them, just kind of give it away. I wasn't upset with her about that, but it's just like, it's really rough, like, seeing him deal with that, but then like not fully knowing what she's going through and why she's going through that. She doesn't want to have any kind of like reminder of what was, now that she's no longer, very possibly not gonna have breasts, because apparently with the type of cancer and how bad it's going to be afterwards, how things will look, she might not be able to get reconstruction. And it's very, like big kudos to the show. For a second I was like, wow, we're kind of getting I was also like, maybe it's not going to be as easy as this, which it wasn't. As we saw this episode, it's still going to be kind of a struggle. But like, we've gotten through the treatments, and now we're going to the surgery to get completely rid of it. Or to be as sure as we can be, by completely getting the surgery to get rid of her breasts, or at least like the part where the infection is. Oh no, my brain! I completely forgot where I was going with this. Damn it! What was I saying? God dang it. I'm so mad. I don't know what happened. My brain just completely just whited out. Just blank. Oh, I remember. Of dealing with how easy it was. Sorry. That we were kind of like starting to speed up to like getting over the hump, and just like not necessarily not have any circumstances or consequences or something coming from this by the end of it. But we're still, even in the recovery process, where they were seeming pretty likely that she's going to be okay. There's still the after effects that women deal with after breast cancer. The survivors, like, there's still this emotional, even if they're not having it's not as aggressive as Lois's was. There's still the emotional, trauma that they went through that whole process. But in this instance of like her having such an aggressive breast cancer that they didn't catch, it's going to affect her physically as well, like her appearance. And that's something that's going to be, while they're showing progress of her getting past this and, talking to Clark and everything, this is still something that's going to be at the back of her mind, probably. Like, a lot of these things are something that just kind of sticks with you, regardless of whether you're like, maybe she is over it, or is like, she's gotten past this. But it's still, like, every now and then there'll be that little thing I'm just like, man, I used to be like this, and now I'm like this because of this. And so there's still like the consequences, or not giving the consequences, but like the, follow up of having dealt with something as serious and detrimental as cancer. So I mean, I again, big kudos to the show for like having these things that will carry forward and that like are long lasting issues or long lasting, I guess ramifications, modifications to characters and things that they're having to deal with. So I wasn't I didn't even think about it. And it's cute. It was cute, like seeing that throughout while they were like in the very beginning, them looking for a wedding spot, something that represents them as a couple, and all the way to the point where like as Lois is kind of not. She's not there. Like it's more so like she's understanding of, or she's feeling. She knows Clark for sure. Like, while he wasn't necessarily talking about her body, just her body that day. It was her. In that moment, she was glowing with, like, pride and happiness. And just, like, the everything she was feeling at that moment, that's what he was seeing. Like, while he was talking about her body, like, yeah, she looked gorgeous. She looks amazing. I'm like, man, whew, that dress. But it was what she had been feeling and everything she was feeling about, that in that moment, about herself, how that dress was making her feel. Like she said, she never felt more. She felt beautiful and sexy. Like she was feeling that, and he was seeing how she was feeling. So that's like more so what he was talking about in that moment, and saying like you. I've never seen anybody as beautiful as you do this moment. And like while she knows that, like it's gonna be we see now that she's not like I'm completely fine now. It's just like whenever I get through with this surgery, I'm probably not gonna want to be intimate, and it might be a while, if ever. And it's just like, hey, I love you. I'm not married to you solely for sex. I love you. I want to be with you. For as long as, well, to be real, for as long as she lives. Because unfortunately, he is Kryptonian, and he's gonna outlive her. Because the boys, I don't know about John. Jordan will age physically and internally slower. But, anyway, he's in for the long haul throughout this process. It is going to take, she's kind of a little more accepting of that, but it's not like a, done deal. I'm all good now. It's just like, well, we'll get through this at each step along the way, It's going to be a process. So the show is doing a great job of just like not just once we've basically gotten through it, it's easy sailing after that. It's a long recovery period afterwards. With the whole John Henry thing, like what we saw again in the beginning with John taking point, and this is kind of him going like, this is my thing, this is my fight, and saying like you're too emotional, you're too empathetic towards this, can't get your emotions get in the way. I know I already mentioned like him letting his emotions, but it's like him, not only was it like in the part where he got the DOD to like come at John, or not, sorry, at Bruno, but it was like his unmoving and his like what's the word, I can't think of the word of, basically he wasn't empathetic towards John's, keep saying John, Bruno's and Mateo's situation, led to Bruno becoming more aggressive. Like he was there to make a deal, and like again, it's understandable the way he was acting, but it's while getting on Clark's case of just like, hey, you can't get too emotional about this. You're letting your emotions get in the way of this. He was as well, and he was slowing their opportunity, like their chance to get something on Bruno, for that deal to happen. Clark went there. He had told John that he was gonna talk to him, and then they had basically agreed on the terms, and then John shows up, and unfortunately Clark didn't hear right away because he wasn't focused. He wasn't paying attention. He was really trying to get through to Mannheim. It's frustrating. And then Sam didn't know that John had known that Clark was going to be there, and obviously that means Sam probably didn't know Clark was going to be there at all, or in the first place. And so, in knowing that and knowing what had happened, and where they were going to be, the fact that Clark had gotten Mannheim to the point of making a deal. Excuse me. Sam was like, "All right, you went too far. You didn't tell me Clark was going to be here. Things were basically kind of settled. You're off. You're off the case, basically." Now, I know Bruno sent people to I don't know if it was to attack him, because I think kind of John went first, or at the very least he came to them more aggressive with a weapon. He might have just went to take them, which still would have been bad, but it starts with John being aggressive and not having a much give in terms of a negotiation. Because even being neutral, he should have had an element of like, okay, well, if we let you do this, then you're gonna do this. It wasn't just if anything, if John didn't want Clark to go in thinking he would be too emotional, he should have let Sam go in. He would be the most neutral party, regardless. Even though like he kind of put his grandson in danger, but I feel like Sam in this instant would have been the most neutral of the party. But yeah, luckily Jordan and Jonathan have patched things up. I love Sarah's contribution to the whole thing, getting them to hug it out. And just again, I'm glad Jordan apologized about it. Like he knew he was in the wrong after Sarah kind of talked to him about it. But no, now he really understands. Like what you're doing. It's really cool, and I'm sorry that I belittled it so much. It wasn't right of me to do so. What you're doing is as important as what I'm doing, and I'm so sorry for making you feel less than that. So I'm glad that he's gotten to that. They've patched things up, because their feud kind of like, when you're in a bad mood about some things, it'll affect a lot of how your interaction with people. So way he kind of acted, not just him, also because Sarah and Jordan in a sense was also kind of the same way. But Jonathan was kind of a little bit more. He wasn't biting her head off about it. He wasn't like being aggressive towards her, but he was more so just like you just give up on the guy kind of a thing. So, and he apologized about it. He was feeling a certain way, but yeah, again, still feel like they were moving a little quickly. Mateo and Nat, but they're teenagers, so it tends to happen. Doesn't mean that they'll, not to be like negative, doesn't mean they'll last necessarily, because we got Jordan and Sarah. Jordan was like, I want to marry your dad in the first season. Like, dude, kid, chill. This is the first or second season. It was both probably, but and him telling her I love you and all that stuff. Anyway, regardless, it's just like there's a lot, chill. But also, you're teenagers, so, it happens. We'll see what happens with these guys. And again, there's the whole thing of Bruno showing Mateo the truth. And again, let me look at this real quick, because I feel like that, am I wrong? Did Bizarro look normal? I didn't, see, the veininess and the, dark circles around his eyes that you would normally see. Can you fast forward faster, please? There we go. I might have just not been able to see it properly, but with the way the light shows, because his skin was pretty pale beforehand, so maybe I just didn't see it right. But it looked like it looked like he didn't have the same skin situation that Bizarro Superman had originally. Does anybody else see that he's missing the veins and everything, and kind of had the bluish lips? I'm pretty sure he had veiny bluish lips, and then the eyes and everything. I mean, no, his eyes are closed, but we don't like the shadow. I feel like that he looks different. He looks healthier. I don't know. It could be just maybe the makeup people were just like, there'll be light on his face. They won't notice the veins aren't there. I don't know. I do not know. But But anyway, sorry, that he was showing him that. I'm just wondering because that has some repercussions for what's going on here. And then later on, maybe that'll be used. But anyway, sorry. So, like, I'm worried that he's going to bring Mateo kind of, like, on his side a little more, especially since John was just like, he was talking about to Nat, like, Dad's not the greatest guy. He's not letting me see my mom. She's dying, and he's not letting her see her family. So it's like, what's up with that? That doesn't sound like a great person. So, I am a little bit worried, especially because, Bruno bringing up, like, this is what I made this, he helped me make the cure for your mom. So, the eyes been bugging me all day. So, I don't know, I'm a little worried. No, I understand. Like, okay, there's a lot of factors in this in the situation of, like, of Henry, or John Henry versus Henry. Henry was already dead. Technically, like, he had been brought back. But, he was already kind of dead. It's more so, like, I'm sure, like, once the stuff wears out, he'll just die again on his own. But I, seen that being a pretty sticky situation. And then there's the fact that Henry would have killed him. So it was kind of a self-defense thing. Because, again, Henry was charging at him, and Clark wasn't going to get there in time. He could have maybe laser vision or something, I don't know. But it's also like John kind of started this as well, but Bruno could have. It's a terrible domino effect that just it's a really sticky situation. I know I keep saying that, but that's just kind of what it is. There's just stuff are going on. I know Clark, like, he kind of, like, hams it up in front of other people that don't know he's Superman whenever, to kind of really seem like a dork and kind of like that he's, maybe fragile or just sensitive in terms of, like, and when it comes to violence, and just like, oh, yo, whenever, like, the Bruno's people showed up at the judge's place, and he's like, they pulled him, he's like, okay, hey, you don't have to be so hard, don't have to be so tough about it. But he's, that is also kind of who he is. In some instances of just, like, whenever they brought up, what was it, Bazoombas? And he's like, oh, place for the wings? And Lois just gave him, was like, nobody goes for the wings. I was like, what? Lana coming in with this, like, they come with the girls with, like, the short tops and blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, I see it now. Okay, I get it. I suppose. Lana's like, I think you're fine. I don't think you have anything to worry about. Which, yeah. It was just very a cute, adorable moment for just Clark being Clark. Like, not just them and as a relationship, but just him adorable. Again, I'm just really happy. I mean, the moments they were having, they were talking. When she was talking to Lana as well, like, all of that, like, their talk, and then Lois's talk with Clark. I really like where they brought up the fact, when Clark was talking to Lana, he's like, I'm just a guy. I'm not gonna understand what she's going through fully. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I have a good say in this. Like, so it's her body. I can't. What do I do? And Lana's like, let me talk to her. And then during the conversation, like, she finds out, like, what, I'm sure she kind of, like, sort of had an idea what she was, going through, like, in terms of what she was thinking, but how she was feeling. But to a point where she's like, I think you need to talk to Clark about this. Like, just everybody, I love everybody just communicating in the show. God, that's a lot of problem with this problem with a lot of CW shows. Like, since it was the WB, it's just always, that's how, the easy way for drama of just like, well, they didn't get to communicate, so things happen, or just like, oh, this person's just being that. Anyway, sorry, a little bit of a mini rant that I am pulling back, that I'm pulling the reins on. But yeah, just everybody all these three helping each other out. A back and forth of just like, let me talk to this person, you need to talk to this person, blah, 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 blah. It's great. But, like, the build up of Lois, talking to Lana about it, and, like, her kind of, putting her, her actual, like, what she's feeling and everything out there. And then, communicating that to Clark, and both of them kind of giving their senses about it and how she feels about it, and how he feels about her, actually, like the fullness of it. Like, while she obviously she knows how she actually how he actually feels about her, but just like hearing that again and again it does wonders. Like, while it's always a good thing to really tell the person, but just there's just a lot going into this, and I feel like they're just doing a good job of all of it. And again, that moment, some of them haven't always been like heavy. Some of them have been like, oh god, crap, this is happening now. Like, they ended with in one episode showing that they got Bizarro. I think this is the first time this season. Yeah, I think this is the first time this season that they've ended the episode with like a just really nice moment between these two. Nice moment in general, but specifically between these two, because they needed it. They really needed just kind of a moment for themselves. And it was so, like, that moment alone was like, everything was just like really hitting me. but that moment was just like, the icing on the cake, cherry on top, all those sayings. It was just magnifique. And I don't feel like we're gonna get that next episode, just because they gotta keep hitting us with a 1-2, and this is just like a breather. But I am glad that they gave us this, so I'm hoping that we'll get more of these down the line. I know we're almost done. We're at like 6 episodes left, give or take. So we're already coming to the end. So hopefully we get more of not heartbreaking scenes. That would be great. It'd be lovely. But anyway, guys, that's it for this week's episode of Superman and Lois. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to stick around for next week's episode, I'm pretty sure they're airing an episode next week. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Man, the show it just continues to be great. It continues to mess with my emotions and just tears me apart. So, but this time at least it was in a good way at the end. So keep it up, please.